Hello! Like always, if I'm somehow in your feed and you don't know why, it's one of these things that did it.
Aaron Imholta, a 37-year-old YouTuber and podcast host from Minneapolis, has been arrested on charges of unauthorized dissemination of sexual images. Imholta.
Cool! Now, today we're talking about a single mother with terminal cancer raising funds for her children in preparation for the inevitable. YouTube and SESAC are having some disagreements, causing some massive artist music to vanish on the platform. And a ring of fire eclipse is inbound, and I'm super jealous I'm not gonna get to see it. All in this top of the week episode of... But before we start, little announcement. Our video editor is gonna be taking a month-long vacation overseas. Asshole. And well, that complicates our daily schedules and intended main show scheduling. By intended. Doesn't always happen though. So we're probably gonna be pulling back to a few bites and like one main show a week this month. And like I said, sometimes that's what happens anyways, but yeah, just a heads up. Anyways, Alice, let's start with that faith in humanity story.
A Utah mother battling terminal cancer has raised over $1 million for her own funeral and for her children's future after receiving just 3 months to live.
So at first, we have an absolute gut punch, but also an incredible show of love that makes me think it's not the end of the road for humanity. Sorry if I mispronounce any names. Erica Dyart-Carr thought she was just dealing with some shoulder pain, maybe a pulled muscle or a pinched nerve. But instead, she gets hit with the news that she's got tumors spreading all over her body. Small cell lung carcinoma, a particularly aggressive type of cancer. Now, for 2 whole years, she's been battling this cancer while raising her 2 young kids on her own, Jeremiah, who's just 7, and Aaliyah, who's only 5. Since her diagnosis, she's kept working full-time, showing up as a mom and holding it together as much as she could. All the while, her health kept taking blow after blow. She's diagnosed with Cushing syndrome, a rare disorder that makes your body flood itself with too much cortisol. It's the kind of condition that doesn't make you just sick, but breaks you down piece by piece. I mean, we're talking weight gain, high blood pressure, bone deterioration, the works. By that point, Erica's body wasn't just failing her, it was actively betraying her. Despite all of this, Erica didn't ask for help until she absolutely had no other choice. She claims to be ashamed to admit she needs financial support. But for something as massive as paying for her own funeral and making sure her kids will be okay when she's gone, I'm gonna say it's okay. Fantastically, once she reached out, her story struck a chord with over 30,000 people. And they didn't just show up, they showed out, raising over a jaw-dropping $1 million. She started with the goal of $5,000, probably hoping just to cover a modest service. Now, because of that overwhelming generosity, her kids are gonna have a safety net when she's no longer here to protect them. It's a fantastic showing of how people, complete strangers, can come together and support someone at their most vulnerable. Erica's story is a reminder of how quickly life can change, but also how a community can quickly rally around someone to lift them up when everything else is falling apart.
Several popular songs, including hits from Adele, Green Day, Bob Dylan, and R.E.M., have been blocked on YouTube due to a legal dispute with SESAC, a performance rights organization.
Well now, this whole situation is an all too familiar face-off between streaming platforms and performance rights organizations. It's a real pain for us listeners too. Oh, I should also caveat this whole story with an as of recording, because I'm sure they're doing their best to work something out. That's lost revenue on both sides, and nobody wants that. Anyways, imagine going to play Adele Someone Like You or like Losing My Religion only to be greeted with a black screen with a message saying, video unavailable. Actually, when I went to search for Someone Like You, it didn't even show up to see an unavailable screen, so, there's that. If you're like most people, you're probably thinking your internet's glitching. But nope, it's a classic case of copyright negotiations gone wrong. Now, SESAC, SAC, one of the big players when it comes to making sure songwriters and publishers get paid their dues, holds all the cards here. They're the ones responsible for making sure artists are compensated when their work gets streamed or broadcast. What we've got is a situation where they didn't get the deal they wanted from YouTube, so boom, no music. The frustrating part is how it feels like the average person gets caught in the crossfire while these giants hash it out over licensing fees and royalties. We've seen this before, haven't we? I'm looking at you, UMG and TikTok. That dispute got Taylor Swift, Bad Bunny, and even Adele, again, pulled from TikTok for like months because of a licensing dispute. The funny, or tragic, thing is, most of us have no clue these deals are going on behind the scenes until one day you can't play your favorite song.
A spectacular ring of fire solar eclipse will be visible on Wednesday, but only in a few areas, including Easter Island, Argentina, and Chile.
Alright, if you're into cosmic spectacles, this is one of those events for the books. A ring of fire eclipse sounds dramatic. I guess it kind of is too. Sadly, you'll only get the full effect if you're viewing from places like Easter Island or some remote parts of Argentina and Chile. For the rest of us, we're stuck with like Instagram highlights or maybe a partial eclipse if you're lucky enough to be in spots like Brazil or Hawaii. So don't be selfish, have those cameras ready. What exactly is a ring of fire, you may be asking? Well, basically, the sun, the moon, and the earth are getting into perfect alignment, but the moon's a bit too far out in its orbit to fully block the sun. This gives us that ring effect, kind of like a glowing halo in a sunlight around the dark moon. I got you all. 7 days, motherfuckers. If you miss this one, you'll be waiting until next year for more partial eclipses, and a total one doesn't roll around again until 2026. But before you run outside and look straight up at the sun, maybe don't. Seriously, looking directly at the sun, especially during an eclipse, can wreck your eyes faster than you can say cornea burn. You'll need some special eclipse glasses to protect your eyes. And don't just grab any random pair that claims to be certified. There are knockoffs out there that don't actually protect you. Check for an ISO 12312-2 certification. Or better yet, stick to indirect viewing methods like pinhole projectors or even just using a colander to project the image onto the ground. Not as cool, but you won't go blind, so. Anyhow. On that note, I'm gonna call it. If you like what you saw here, go on and hit that like button. Hey, did it light up now? Can somebody tell me in the comments? Did you make it all the way here to the end? Push the like button. Help spread some news. And I'll catch you next time. Bye.